Okay, hello everybody. It's Dr. Edward, the Healing Vet here, and I'm super excited to have Kamal Fernandez, who is a world-leading positive reinforcement dog trainer and teacher of other dog trainers too, I believe.
Yep, absolutely.
And Kamal is one of our featured expert speakers on the Dog Anxiety Summit, which is starting tomorrow. So just having a quick chat with him to talk a little bit about behavior modification, because it's one of the 4 big M's in treating and healing anxiety in dogs. We have environmental management, we have behavior modification, we have medication, which can also is not only prescription medication, but can include a whole lot of alternative and complementary supplements and other interventions as well. And then the 4th M is monitoring and evaluating and then adjusting. But Kamal,
Yep.
awesome to have you here.
Thank you
Before
for
we dig
asking
into
me.
it a bit, I just wanted to ask you if you think people miss or minimize anxiety in dogs, and if they do, why do you think that happens?
Yeah, firstly, obviously, thank you very much for having me speak at this. I'm really excited about the concept of talking about anxiety as in a broad conversation. I think it's something that's so relevant, especially post pandemic. People definitely have had more issues with their dogs with anxiety issues. Definitely, I think there is a misunderstanding and minimization of anxiety within dogs and all the subsequent issues that can unfold. Certainly, aggression can
Mhm.
really regularly be misinterpreted as the dog's just being naughty, he's bad, etc., and all those labels that get attached to those behaviors. Actually, the dog is probably concerned and frightened and has no other means of communication rather than displaying aggressive or inappropriate behavior, or what we perceive as humans as inappropriate behavior. I think it's because there's loads of reasons why I believe that people misinterpret it. Partly, I think, is the misunderstanding of dog behavior and how dogs see the world.
Mhm.
I think there's also the Disney-esque perception of dogs that we've been somewhat almost indoctrinated to believe that dogs should love everybody should be their best friend and so forth. And we've got the ideology of Lassie and Rin Tin Tin,
Yep.
to which all dogs are measured by, and that's an unrealistic expectation of most dogs. And the other thing is, obviously, to be truthful, it's the prevalent how can I put this diplomatically? It's the pushing of a certain thinking, or certainly in the media and television, of dominance-based dog training, of you have to be the alpha, etc., and the need to dominate. And the reason your dog isn't misbehaving is because you're not alpha, and that train of thought, which has really created a lot of issues for people misinterpreting their dog's behavior, which is anxiety, and therefore compounding it potentially.
And not only that, that whole alpha thing comes from one study by an old white man with a
Yeah,
group of wolves that were actually contained in a fenced enclosure. So they weren't in a natural environment. They weren't showing natural behavior, and he overlaid all of his
perception.
need to dominate onto
Absolutely.
the animals. So it was absolute bullshit, if you
Yeah,
excuse my French,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
research, and it shaped a lot of ideas. But the other thing is that it actually can cause anxiety and make anxiety worse.
Definitely.
Which it ends up being an aversive based approach. If you start wanting to dominate your dogs, I get a lot of people saying, "My dog's stubborn,"
Mm.
and I say to them, "That's not a helpful way to think about it. Your dog is really determined and intelligent and doesn't understand what you want."
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's my one of my common gripes, or a gripe that I have, is people labeling and attaching labels such as stubborn, lazy, stupid. He's doing it on purpose, and all the endless things that we attach to our dogs. When really, our dogs are doing the best they can in the environments that we put them in, with the information that we give them. And if we think of our dogs as if you're educating a child, and think of the endless list of things that we have to equip our child with: the ability to go to the toilet on this porcelain round thing, to eat with a knife and fork, God bless, to talk and to have social skills. And yet with our dogs, we assume that they're going to come hardwired like an iPhone, you just plug and go. So I definitely think there's a misunderstanding between what dogs are and what we as a society have been conditioned to believe they should be.
This is Pearl.
Pearl's very, very sweet.
Pearl's nearly 15, and
Wow.
Pearl's had, thunder anxiety issues and separation anxiety issues. She's now her dementia is starting to get worse. So some of those anxiety issues are getting a little bit worse. But I know for sure when years ago, before I learned a lot of this stuff, that I probably missed early signs and didn't get a chance to intervene.
Yeah.
And I also had another dog, Bo, who's a big black Labrador, who had severe behavioural issues, and I ended up having to euthanize him many years ago before I had any idea about a lot of this stuff around anxiety. Now, he was one of the faces of anxiety that, the way I talk about anxiety is that I say there's four faces. There's the fight. They're the ones that come at you and bark. There's the flee. They're the ones that if they come in and see me at the vet clinic, they're hiding under the chair and you've got to drag them out to look at them. Then you got the other two faces, which I think people are less aware of. You have the freeze, and you can have a spectrum of freeze, from total freeze to suppression, so that they can just look like they're calm when actually they're quite stressed.
Yeah.
And I reckon the other face of anxiety, which I call the fidget, are the ones that are hypervigilant, never settle, can't sleep, can't rest, and go ballistic when someone comes to visit, jumps all over them, don't listen to commands, difficult to train. I reckon that's a really commonly missed expression of anxiety in dogs. Do you agree with that?
150%. The two that you mentioned, the latter two, I think fight and flee are very obvious to people. They understand that those are responses to anxiety and fear. However, the dog that is shut down, or the dog that's moving around like a cat on a hot tin roof, those two are often misinterpreted, certainly across the board in both domestic dogs and certainly sports dogs, which is what a lot of my clients have. In that the dog that's all hot and hyper, it appears to be enthusiastic. Actually, the dog's incredibly stressed. Or the dog that's being really passive and the tail down and subdued in a corner when you take it to a coffee shop, for example, is the dog that's calm. And actually, the dog is overwhelmed by the environment. So it takes a more refined eye to see those details and have an understanding. The thing to say is that it's a necessary evil that your dog is going to be subjected to, put in a position where they will be stressed. That's a part of life. We will all go through life and things are going to stress us out. You're late for work, you miss your bus, the weather's bad, etc., whatever the case may be. But what we should be doing as dog owners and those like yourself, practitioners, etc., is understanding and being compassionate when our dog is saying, I'm a bit stressed and I need you to support me, or I'm overwhelmed and can you remove me from the situation, or can you help me navigate this environment that is causing me to be stressed, whether it's, for example, with medication or alternative means or training or education, as opposed to seeing the dog as a problem or the symptoms as a problem. We need to actually sometimes strip it back and have a bit more compassion, really. And as I said, a better understanding.
Yeah. So, this is why I put my hand up to host this summit, and why I've gathered people like Kamal with deep wisdom and a long-term lived experience of helping anxious dogs. We've got, 12 holistic veterinarians, a physiotherapist, a couple of animal communicators, energy healers, a sound healer. We've got 4 amazing people who are dog trainers and trainers of dog training. And we've got a board certified veterinary behavior specialist who's one of our speakers too, which I'm really excited about. Day one, we're going to dig into understanding anxiety in dogs. We're digging into a whole lot of things on that topic. Then day 2, we're taking a deep dive into alternative and complementary holistic treatment options for healing anxiety in dogs. Day 3 is all about dog training, socialization, behavior modification, training through positive reinforcement. And day 4, we dig into integrative veterinary treatment of anxiety. And of course, we have Dr. Christopher Packle, the board certified veterinary behaviorist, talking about when and how prescription medications can give you the best outcomes for these dogs. Totally free for you to come along to this summit if you attend live. We go live tomorrow morning. I'm Dr. Edward, the Healing Vet. I'm the host. I'm going to be doing a live Q&A each morning, so you can ask me questions. It's going to be a ridiculously early hour here in Australia, but I'll be getting out of bed on my Saturdays and Sundays at 5 o'clock in the morning to help you out. If if you're in Kamal's community, please leap on this opportunity. You've got
Absolutely.
21 speakers, so much wisdom,
Yeah.
and you'll see a link on Kamal's socials or on his website or a button or something where you can
Yeah.
register.
Yeah.
Free to attend live. I strongly encourage you to take the VIP upsell because then you get lifetime access to all the material. And every anxious dog is unique, beautifully unique and different. So you often have to experiment and try different treatments and approaches. And as you move through the healing process, you sometimes need to drop one thing and pick up another thing. So it'll be like a tremendous library of good information that you'll be able to depend on in the future too.
Definitely. And that's what I love about this summit is the depth and breadth of the people speaking at it. So there is going to be something in the content for every single person with every type of dog that has an anxiety-based behavioral challenge or a challenge in general. I think that it's something that everybody should be looking at, and certainly, the content is going to be amazing, and the speakers, the quality of speakers, and as I said, it's the diverse range of speakers from everything from the healers to the practical dog training entity to holistic medication to everything. So you're going to get a really, really, really diverse set of information, which is amazing. So thank you for putting it all together.
Oh, look, it's been a lot of fun. It has been a lot of work, and I'm feeling a little tired right now because we finally got to the point of taking it all live tomorrow. But I'm just so devoted to wanting to help people. So, not only come along this, but please share the word. Wherever you're seeing this on your socials, just click on that share button because you don't know who of your friends or your friends' friends have got a dog that they might be at their wits' end with, that they can't go anywhere socially because the dog's got separation anxiety, or they might be, every walk is a stressful thing and they're just hoping that they're never going to see an off-lead dog because there could be a terrible incident. And there's so much you can do to help these anxious dogs when you get some information into your system about what anxiety is, how it works, what kind of holistic and alternative treatments can work, how positive reinforcement training helps them, how the veterinary approach can help both from an integrative and a more allopathic perspective. So, come and join us. It's going to be a stack of fun. And I'm really happy to have you on the team, Kamal, because I know the talk that we did about positive reinforcement was just so juicy.
No, I really enjoyed, the conversation, and as similar to you, I feel really passionate about helping people overcome the issues that attach to anxiety. And to be truthful, the other thing I think which is the greater message, is to change the stigma attached to it. I think that it's a common theme that most dogs, at some point, you're going to have the experience of feeling anxious, or whether it's talking at a conference or a meeting or going for a job interview or something deeper than that. It might be that you've had an unfortunate traumatic experience, and the same can be said of our dogs. They're going to have the experience of anxiety, and we can help them navigate that and not have any long-lasting fallout from that experience, then surely we'd want to do that. And if your dog does have an issue related to anxiety, it's the as Edward's explained, you may have to change your tactic. It might be something's working now, or something has been working and you feel it's plateaued off. There might be something else out there that could really take that dog's learning to the next level. So definitely, if you haven't had the chance to sign up, definitely sign up and jump on board, because there's some amazing speakers.
Yeah, and look, and even if you have a dog who doesn't have an anxiety issue, it's well worth investing in this because, at any time, you could have someone back end you while the dog's in the car. You could be out on a walk and have a dog off leash come and roll your dog over or attack them. You never know when a traumatic event could happen that then could trigger anxiety issues in your dog. And if you've got a dog that's showing even the slightest signs of anxiety, the sooner you act, the better the outcomes, because as anxiety accelerates and escalates over time, it gets harder and harder to intervene and effectively heal these dogs. So, and if you're going to get a puppy in the future ever, this summit is well worth investing in, just so you've got that information, the talk with Dr. Ian Dunbar about puppy socialization. He talks about what you need to do to socialize puppies to kind of practically, or at least in a large proportion of dogs, anxiety proof them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that, I mean, Ian's, been on the forefront of reinforcement-based dog training for literally decades. And he's been somebody that certainly inspired me in my early part of my career and continues to inspire me, I have to say. So if nothing else, just listen to his wise words, and you're going to glean so much for it. But even beyond puppies, anybody that's a professional dog trainer, your clients are going to have issues with anxiety within their dogs. So come and listen to this, to the talk. If you're a person that is just struggling on your own and have no knowledge about dog training at all, come and join this talk. If it managed to stumble on your doorstep as you're trolling through Facebook, sign up, because the more the merrier, and the more that we can spread the good word, so to speak, the better it is going to be for dogs that are out there and for their owners.
Absolutely. And if you're a professional, and probably in Kamal's community, I know this is going live to my streams too, so it's not quite so appropriate or apt for the people in my community who are listening, but there's probably a few professionals out there too. But another value of coming to this summit as a professional is it'll give you a much better idea of all the different kinds of interventions, and make you better able to refer in a really healthy way to support your people to get a really good team. If you're training and you hit one of those dogs that is just off the charts and 10 times more difficult than the average dog, your training thing is really going to help, but you also need to be getting other people on board,
Absolutely. Sorry interrupting you there, but just to say, at one point I was very much a trainer that was, and being really candid about my own experience, my own journey, I was very reluctant to consider medication as an option when dealing with behavioral problems. I was very, very reluctant at one point in my dog training and professional career. And I would see it as almost a failing on my part if a dog had to be medicated. Now, understanding it better, and that's what I would urge everybody, is to keep an open mind to these conversations and these options. Is I absolutely think that there's a time and a place when medication or alternative therapies are definitely an option for dogs that are struggling with anxiety, if not just to give the owner a moment to breathe and then regroup and move forward.
Absolutely. And, we've got a bit of a shared journey there, because I was kind of fundamentalist about the alternative complementary thing, and prescription medicines are poison. We can't use them.
Absolutely.
And I'm still very much don't use them ever as my first choice. Or there's two reasons that I find that medication can be really helpful. One is the animal that you try all the holistic alternative supplements and treatments. You're not getting any traction. And number two are dogs that are having anxiety so severe that they're potentially dangerous to themselves, to other animals, or to human beings. And in those cases, I think medication can be critically important, just to bring them down to a point where your training and everything else can start to get traction. Sometimes you only need to be on these medications for 6 or 12 months, and you can taper them. So, but I got to go because I'm running out of time. It's been awesome.
As always, a pleasure.
Anyone who's watching, there'll be a link either in the description of the post. If it's embedded on the website, there'll be a button saying sign up here or something. There will be a place where you can come and join us easily. Absolutely. And we'll be starting tomorrow. If you don't see this till Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, you can still join in.
Definitely.
Absolutely. But we'd love to have you come along, and please share the heck out of this so that we can reach as many anxious dogs as we possibly can.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for asking me. I'm hugely privileged to be, on this summit with you and the many other incredible speakers. So definitely, everybody, if you haven't had a chance, sign up as soon as you possibly can. It's going on for the next couple of days. Do not miss out. All right, guys.
Awesome. We'll see you on the summit.
Take care.
Bye.